So you want to retire? Nah, not really retire. So you want to quit your dadgum job. I get you. You want to not have to answer to anybody? You're tired of the idiots. You're tired of the bosses that were in diapers when you were choosing your first boyfriend? Yeah, okay, that's a thing. So you want to retire. Okay, maybe not retire. So you want to quit. Let's call it that. You want to quit working for somebody else. You don't necessarily want to quit working. You're just tired of doing it for somebody else or for these particular people. All right, let's get a plan together because you can't just leap. We're not kids anymore. You need to decide your job. This is not your exit plan. Your job is what you want to get away from. You want to see it in your rearview mirror as you're moving toward the life that you want. You have worked too hard to be miserable. Let's stop being miserable. Let's go and enjoy our lives in the fashion that we need. But there's some pieces of information that you need to know before you walk out. And you're not just going to walk out. We're not doing an emotional exit. No, we're not 20. We're not 30. We may be women of a certain age that have these own personal summers that would power throw us through an emotional walkout, but we pull ourselves up and we say, no, we're going to do this right. We're going to do it once. You don't want to have to go back to work full time somewhere because you did emotionally walk out and you weren't prepared. So let's get you prepared and let's get on with it. If you're just getting started, if you've not given two squats, if you've not given any effort or thought to what you're going to do for retirement money and you're just getting started, you're not too late. Let's just call a spade a spade. You're going to have to do some things focused and very intently and intensely, but you're not too late. And intensely, but you're not too late. If you have been doing something toward retirement or you started late, but you have started. Me personally, I'm facing down the barrel of 60, a few years away from that. I'm 58. But I didn't start saving for retirement until I was in my early 40s, maybe 43. And then it was a slow start because I didn't really understand what I was supposed to be doing. I just knew, hey, this Roth thing sounds like a good idea. I'm going to start putting a little bit every month into that. So regardless of where you are, you can still get ready and leave this job. It's up to you. You don't need $1 million. That's just a big pile of malarkey. And I've said it again, malarkey. You don't need $1 million. What you do need is the exact amount every month that you need. It's different from what I need. It's different from what your coworker needs. You have to figure that out. So down in the description, I have a workbook for you free. I've got a couple of workbooks for you. First one is Master Your Money Plan. This is what you need. If you have not started doing any sort of formalized budget, you have got to start because this is going to be your security blanket for the rest of your life to make sure that you have enough money every month to take care of what you need. So go and grab that. I also have the Life Experience to Income Workbook, and that's going to play a big factor into this conversation because if you do not have 100% every month in a cash fund and or retirement funds that you can access at the point that you depart for the amount of money you need every month for retirement, you're going to have a gap, and we're going to have to bridge that gap. Now, we in Generation X, we were not taught in school. There was no courses available. There may have been available in college, but how many of us actually went to college and or finished college? I don't know the percentage, but I was part of the started and didn't complete portion of that conversation. But I was never actually taught about retirement. I've picked up things, I've listened to conversations, I've watched a bunch of videos, and then I got scared and I got intentional and I started figuring it out. And what I figured out is that it wasn't a full amount of money that was my focus. It was how much do I need every month and can I live within that amount? So this is where we're going to get started. So the first thing you got to do is figure out how much your monthly expenses are right now. And if you are carrying debt, I'm not going to shame you for it, but we want to get rid of that, because when you go into retirement, you do not want to have to worry about making certain you have all of your debt payments ready to go, in addition to needing food and shelter and transportation and maybe medication, etc. Everything that you need needs to come ahead of all the stuff you've borrowed against. So let's get the debt paid off before we actually jump. But this conversation is to give you, and I'm not going to call it a magic wand, because it is going to be powered by your own intention and your own sweat. Because if you want it, you're going to have to work for it. There is no easy street. There never has been. So for those of us who are not 100% funded to fully retire and never have to work again, let's talk about what our options are. And this will include not having to keep working for these people. You can start your own journey with your own income streams and side hustles. So down in the description, Life Experiences to Income workbook, free for you. Whether you worked inside or outside the home your entire life, or you did a hybrid of that, there will be things that you know how to do that you can begin creating your own side income from, and possibly fund and fill the gap of what you have to what you need. My dad told me, you never quit a job without a job. So if I want to quit this job that I currently have, and it is my last job for somebody else, I personally don't want to do one of those retirements where I 100% don't work. I enjoy doing stuff. I enjoy making money. So I'm going to quit this job, but I'm building my own job where I am my own boss. These, today we call them side incomes or side hustles or income streams. But I'm doing that now while I have the safety and security of a regular paycheck to get it going, so that as I'm pumping that well and they are beginning to produce income, I have the confidence that the money is beginning to flow so that I can accelerate the date to which I want to leave my current job. This is called building a bridge. I am building a bridge from where I sit today with this dream of I want to leave my job and go work for myself between now and the time I decide I don't want to work anymore. This could also be because you know you're going to have a gap in retirement. Start building those gap fillers now. But the reason why building a bridge is what you need to do next is because it's going to provide you stability, confidence, income to know that you have only this much of a gap that you have to fill in order to make these big decisions. But while that money's rolling in and you're currently employed, because it's going to start rolling in, if you work it, if you put in the time and the effort to start it and to build it, it will start rolling in. But consider it like a second job, a part-time job where you've got money now that's not budgeted, but let's not let it just willy-nilly come in and go out. Give it a job. Job is pay off your debt, pile up cash, make sure that you build it up to a level that you're confident if you leave your full-time job and you only need this much money to exist without it, that your part-time hustle is now your income stream that's going to fund your life. Now, as we move into this next chapter of life, there's going to be some tearing down. Once we leave our full-time jobs, some of our expenses are going to erode away. Before age 65, though, you're going to backfill some of those expenses that evaporate by leaving your job with things that you got to have, health insurance and prescription costs. All of that gets baked in until we get to 65. And Medicare is available to us, so that'll help offset the cost of those things. I have an entire series of videos on healthcare cost as we move into this next chapter of life, especially if you're wanting to leave your job before 65 and not go get another job with benefits. You have options, but you have to fully understand what those are. In the workbook, Life Experiences to Income, you're going to find all sorts of options for you to use what you already know to make money. Yes, there's the trending things. You see me on this YouTube channel right now. You can also do digital products. You can write how-to books, etc., etc. If that's not your thing, if that's not your bag, there are other options because you've got skills. Go through the workbook, come up with some ideas for yourself. None of this is going to be easy. Nothing worth it in our life has ever been easy. It is going to be worth it though. If you were that frustrated, if you were that ready, if you were that over it, then this is not going to be that big of a job for you. You're simply going to have to go, get the workbook, and get started. Start ugly, start a little scared, but start, because it ain't going to kill you. It is going to be the answer to some of your prayers to whomever you've been praying to, but it is in your control, and it always has been. I'm Jenny. I got a little to say about a lot of stuff, and I usually post on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Every now and again, I'll spit out a jigger of gin because I got something I'm really going to talk about, and that's usually unfiltered, unedited, not very glamorous, but very important ginisms. We'll call it that. Like, share, subscribe. Send this to somebody who needs to hear this information. You got somebody in your life who is way over their current job, but they're not sure where to go next. Send them to my channel. Send them this video. I will see you all again soon. Stop recording. If you know something, if you are a subject matter expert, think about what you do daily on your job. What do you support? What customer service questions do you answer? Is it about software products? Is it about how to do a particular thing? Is it specific to your industry? You could become a consultant. You could become a contractor. Those are short-term gigs. You pick it up for a few weeks or a few months and you go home, and when you want to go back to work, you go back to work. Start looking into those opportunities. Do you want to be completely autonomous and independent? That would mean you could become a tutor. You could become a dog walker. You could be a house sitter. You could be a pet sitter. You could, but child care, elderly care, that is definitely a underserved, highly demanded opportunity. It's not so much that you have to have nursing skills or anything like that. No, you're basically a paid companion. As my mother aged after her husband passed, we did hire a companion to come and spend time with her throughout the day. Various levels of responsibilities, but it can be as simple as just light housework, light meal prep, and just keeping somebody company. There are those of us who have had to take our parents in or be their main caregivers at different stages as they move into their elderly years. And we all know the value of having a trusted, responsible somebody to show up while we have to go to work, or we have to go to the school recital, or we have to go on vacation, or sometimes they just need some respite. You could be a respite companion or caregiver. So there really are unlimited options. Go through the workbook, come up with some ideas for yourself. And then I am also building out a more detailed step-by-step how to try on a couple of these ideas, how to do some research to find out if there is a demand in your area and how best to market it, etc. Down in the description, if you go and you sign up for my newsletter, you'll see additional information coming out for when I launch that.